Samara.
Yeah.
We should just go.
Oh.
Okay.
Alright. So can somebody remind me about what that article that you read yesterday from the science book was about? So think about it in your head for a second while I find those papers.
I'm sure how you're flexible and respond to.
Jace.
It was talking about air pressure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anything else? Spencer?
And it was talking about like some of this kind of air pressure machine.
Okay. The air pressure, like the barometer?
Yeah.
Awesome. Paige? The air molecules. Is that what you were going to say, Relena?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So, today we're going to look at some different parts of the text that help us understand the text better. So, we're going to look at, well, I'll show you. Okay. So, this first paragraph, it says, the atmosphere is composed of air. Air has mass. In fact, a column of air 1 square centimeter in area, extending up to the top of the atmosphere, has a mass of 1.2 kilograms. If the top of your head has a surface area of 150 square centimeters, that means every time you go out and stand under the open sky, you have a pressure of 180 kilograms of air pushing down on your head. That's like wearing a hat with a refrigerator on it. So how does this part that's underlined help us to understand better? How does that help you understand kind of that whole paragraph? Money?
It kind of like gives you like a visual so you can like imagine it more.
Yeah, no, just go to your desk.
I'm just going to.
Money, go ahead.
It kind of like gives you like a visual and like a little bit. It helps you understand, I guess.
Yeah, it helps you understand more. I don't really know that I fully understand what 180 kilograms probably feels like, but I can imagine what a refrigerator would look like if somebody was carrying it. It would be really heavy, right? Imagine carrying a refrigerator. That's a lot. I mean, not if you're super strong like me, but maybe. Okay, so the next one. For the next ones, I want you to get into a group of 3 by the time I count down from 10. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, awesome. So, I want your group to all stand up in a circle.
Yeah, they go in circles.
I need an emoji then.
Oh, Paige's group, that's stellar circle work right there.
Bam.
It's actually
You guys, stellar.
more of a triangle, I would agree. Okay,
We only got a group two.
okay. I want you to talk about with your group why these 2 pictures help us to understand. So first talk about what are those pictures telling us? What are we learning from those pictures? And why is that helpful to kind of that rest of that article that you read? So once you've shared something, sit down. Then the next person in your group will share and sit down. Then the last person in your group will share and sit down. Once everybody's sitting down, I'll know that you've all shared and then you've all talked about it. Okay? So, go.
Okay, well, I don't know. There's a column of there.
Wait, what's happening?
Sometimes nature can help us.
You should make them friends.
So there's
No, we can all twin one day. I'm gonna just try to think like.
I think yeah, you got friends.
Great, you don't want to hike up the mountain. Like, what happened? Alright, how's this?
It helps me understand what the heck is going on.
Awesome. So once you've shared this, go ahead and take a
Then we can prevent cigarettes.
The live stream when
All right. So you're all sitting. So I know that means you've all shared and talked about this. So I would like to hear from a couple groups. What do you think? Gabrielle.
What I said was that air is like invisible, or like you can't see it, and then like the higher up you go, the less air you have.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like why when you go up in like an airplane, like it has to be like certain.
Yeah. And so with your group, I talked about when you go hiking in the mountains. So we were looking at this picture, and you can see that there's more air pushing down over here. And Paige was telling us that when she goes hiking in Colorado with her sister, it's hard to breathe when you're up in the mountains because there's just not as much air up there, right? Jace.
It helps you understand the difference of air molecules at sea level and at I guess just difference in elevation.
Yeah. So do you feel like this picture was helpful to you when you were reading? So you kind of see it? Awesome. All right. So I have one last one. Okay. So you're going to do the same thing again. I want you to stand up with your group of 3. Read this paragraph together and tell me why you think I would have underlined that one. Or how that helps us understand it.
So you know, yes. Of how
take your house off.
You ready to What do you guys think?
So tell me what you guys
Like if you just do it for, it's helping us like understand.
Yeah, giving like a real world example. Remember that when you hear the noise, you still all right. Then I have a group tell me what they thought about this. Why would I have underlined that, or how does that help us? Rachel?
It helps you give it's like an example, so it helps you understand it.
Mm-hmm. It's an example, kind of a real world example. Samara?
We think that it was that they used a lot of descriptions and certain words, so that way we can like picture it in our mind for us to help us understand it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they used a lot of descriptive words and examples to help you understand what it's like when there's that pressure, right? Okay, so in these same groups that you're in right now, you are going to send one person to grab a nonfiction text. No, not yet. When you grab a nonfiction text from up here, I want you to read it and find 2 text features. That could be maybe they're using figurative language, maybe they have a really good example, like this lotion example, or maybe there's some good pictures that help you understand. So identify 2 of those and tell me how do they help you understand the text or whatever they're trying to tell you in that nonfiction.
And remember, you're not necessarily looking for that text structure. You know, like we just finished up that assessment where you're saying, oh, it's chronological text structure. That's helpful too, but what we're looking at specifically, Arlena, is that we're looking at some of these features, like the pictures and the word choice, that help you to understand a certain part. Like the refrigerator on the head.
So each group send up 1 person from your group to grab a book, and go ahead.
Get it, no, you.
I thought we were gonna get it.
It matches my personality.
You get it.
Oh, sorry.
I got a book about rockets.
We're on video. We're on video.
I know. Only because I remember that.
We don't open the book. We're on video. No.
I don't know, but it was cool.
No, that's too big of a book. See?
Yeah,
Well,
Snap twice. Snap, can you hear me? 2 thumbs up. Somebody asked you a great question. Do we need to read it all? Who can answer that? Who can answer that by raising their hand quietly? Brooke. Why? What can you do? Exactly. She said skim and scan. Look for those pictures, how those might help you, because that's one of the examples that we use, but also look for some word choice, just like Ms. Hagedorn was saying, that would help you. So let's give this about 5 minutes, and we will be looking for the ultimate example that you can find in your nonfiction books. Prizes may be awarded.
Like candy
I don't want to get you too excited. Sometimes the prizes are
like 12 million dollars. Are we
Oh, girl.
We got it.
I feel so bad. Alrighty. How about this one? It will eat your soul.
What is this? Stashed out mustaches.
It's so
Take a trip to the Yep. Picture. I grew in the last.
Teacher, we have one. She's mine. No. Miss Hagedorn. We have one.
Tell me
about it. I found it.
You have one.
We have one. I found
You need
it.
2. So keep
I found it all on
Tell me about it.
Wait, is she wants me to
understand no.
She wants me like how swords Okay, so so like for this shark 2 extra blades was usually wouldn't know what they look like.
Right. If they just told you about it, do you think you would get the same outcome?
Oh yeah.
It's better if they show you.
Don't do that.
I agree. I think that's very helpful. Okay, so find one more.
So you win?
You. It's good.
Mine's
It's
good.
good.
It's better.
I
Wait, do we need to find 2?
Yeah, we got
It helps us understand how they would armor. We have another one.
We have 2
We have another We have another piece of our basic because this one it is a samurai sword.
Yeah.
Oh
No.
Miss Hagedorn, we got another one.
Wait, is it Hagedorn? Hagedorn?
So this one, it's just correct. So it shows us how they and it's on horseback. So on horseback and on the battlefield. It's like a tank compared to because if I would have said it, we wouldn't have.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, go to the next one you found. We have another one.
You two
We don't even know what we're saying.
You guys didn't even your group. We can go over with your group.
Yeah, for today's bracket.
Oh, we were
laughing.
Yeah,
because you guys said no. Hey, we don't.
I see men with no men.
Well, I do have it.
Oh, class.
Oh,
yes. So, I would like to hear examples from 3 groups. So if you feel like you have the best.
We can do this.
I'm looking for somebody who's seated quietly. Their whole group is probably seated. Sit down. ABLS. Sure. Put it on the document camera.
So, we had this book about gerbils.
Oh,
She brought it I'm having troubles today. So, we had this book on gerbils, like I told you. So, okay, so this picture with these gerbils shows how they live. So, they live in this lovely wooded area.
It shows how does that help you guys? Audience, you will be disqualified.
If we keep talking?
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Participation award.
So how does that picture help you understand the text?
So it helps us understand about gerbils and how they live their life and where they live it. And then, so we found this subtitle here called Gerbil Relatives. And this helps us understand if you like want to find something in a category that's like a subcategory of that category, and you can find it, and then you can learn about the gerbil's relatives. Okay?
Give a round of applause.
10 out of 10.
Everybody's on top of that. I'm blocking. I'll let you choose Miss Hagler.
Okay.
I know I was back with this gentleman, Zion's group. You might want to share.
Okay. This group back here.
We have Illuminati.
No, we don't have it on good.
Oh, yeah, water.
Oh, I thought that was Irish.
I tracked this emoji.
So we read books about the atomic bomb. So then ours was, we read a line called "A light as bright as 20 suns filled the sky,"
Which
So-
is description.
and it describes how bright the explosion was.
How does that help you understand the text or understand?
Like, so here's the thing. It like makes it so it's like kind of a real life like perspective. Like if you look at the sun, that's bright, but imagine 20 suns.
Right.
So it makes you realize how bright that really was.
Yeah, it puts it into perspective of something that we already know. Awesome.
All right, give a round of
Excellent.
applause. Who do you think might be able to take? Oh man.
No, not them. Not
This
them.
side is hard
They're not raising their hand.
Don't. Nope. It's up to you.
Hold it in, guys.
I think the boys back there.
Oh,
They've been very They've been very calm with watching everybody, paying close attention.
We didn't win anything.
We have to they pass.
Okay, so our odds. Our vote was
Hold on just a second, gentlemen. A couple people are being rude, and I want them to be able to hear you if I know you have great ideas. So let me just address, fair isn't always equal. So there are times that maybe not everybody is going to share, and that's okay. Alright, gentlemen, the floor is yours.
So our book is on swords. So we found this as our first one. So it's all of these swords and its pictures. But then what helps us, like with the text features, is so it says like the sharp two-edged blade was usually a little more than 2 feet long right here. So with that one, if it would have just said that, we wouldn't have known it. But it gave us all the pictures of all these swords.
What they would have looked like.
Yeah, so it's got all of these descriptive, like these descriptions, and with just the descriptions, we wouldn't know how they look. So then our next one is right here. So this, I can't move it. So this one shows a knight on horseback. So it says on horseback. On the battlefield, a mounted knight was like a tank compared to those on foot, at least until pike formations were made cavalry charges less practical. So basically, so they're comparing the knight to a tank, but we wouldn't have known what the knight would look like unless without this picture. But with this picture, it shows us like how armored the horses were and how armored the knights were.
Awesome. Thank you.
I don't think they won. You're just sad because you didn't even come up with one.
I was saying, I don't.
Alright, so 6th graders. I think you did a really great job of looking for those examples of either visuals or text that helped you to make sense of the piece that you were reading. I think the gentleman back there with the, I just happened to be sitting there when Zion found that particular line about an atomic bomb being as bright as 20 suns. And that's such a great description because none of us have ever experienced an atomic bomb firsthand, and to be able to think about it, like Drake was saying, you think about how bright the sun is, it's about 20 times that. It's a great example. All of the examples that group shared up there were helpful. In just a moment, we're going to transition to sharing some Genius Hour projects. Ms. Hammond, do you want to check what's stuff in video?
Yes.
So, just a reminder that you are all presenting your Genius Hour projects